Hello, government students. We're going to continue on for this lesson learning about the legislative branch. I know that we've been doing a lot with the legislative branch. Remember, it is the longest section in the Constitution, so it has the most information, and the legislative branch does a lot. So the last lesson you were looking at the powers of Congress. And again, one of the main powers of Congress or the legislative branch is to make laws. So today's lesson is how a bill becomes a law. So before any law is passed by Congress or the national government, it's considered a bill. So how a bill becomes a law. So I'm going to share my screen here to kind of show you what we're doing today. Here we go. Okay, so there's a couple documents that you're going to be using. One of the documents is layout for the steps of how a bill becomes a law. And so if you look, there are 14 steps. So it's pretty complex, and you're going to be using this information to help you fill in the answers for the questions here. Okay, so there's 8 questions. So basically, after the lesson, you should be able to answer these 8 questions. So definitely use this document. And then there's a video here that you can watch. It's about 5 minutes, and it's actually from congress.gov. And so watch this video, it goes over those steps. And then finally, the most concise way to figure out the long process is this graphic organizer. So if you look, again, we have our bill here, and then it starts in the House committee. And then if it is voted yay from the House committee, it moves on to the House floor. And if it passes there, it goes to the Senate committee and moves to the Senate floor. So you can kind of follow these arrows. So what are the committees? The committees are people who are parts of, in this case, the House committee are members from the House of Representatives, and they actually look at the bill and they start kind of looking at the language or how it's written or what specifics are in the bill, and then they rewrite it. So if you sent in, your suggestion for a bill, like let's say you want to say no school on Fridays. Well, you can't just pass a law that says no school on Fridays because there's a lot of things that go with that. So the House committee and then the Senate committee would be looking at the specifics of that. So if it keeps passing through, it eventually can make its way down to the president. And then the president has 3 choices. The president can veto, which means he's not signing the bill, and then it goes back. And if it gets a 2/3 vote, yay, it can override the presidential veto, and it becomes a law anyway. So this is one way that the legislative branch has a check on the executive branch and limits the power of the president, so to speak. The president can simply sign it and becomes a law. And then more difficult to understand is what is known as a pocket veto. Basically, it's known as a pocket veto because the idea is that the president doesn't do anything with the bill for 10 days. So it's like he puts it in his pocket and doesn't think about it. And if that happens, then it does become a law. So why would the president do that? Because he doesn't want to, or she doesn't want to put her name on this as, they agree with the law or what would be the law, but they also don't want to disagree. So it's just kind of their way of staying neutral. And anyway, that's considered a pocket veto. So I think this graphic organizer does a really good job of kind of putting the information maybe more easier to understand. So definitely use that to help you as well. So again, you're going to be completing the questions. I would watch those videos. Remember too, there's that Schoolhouse Rock video that I added on with one of the earlier lessons that you can watch, and it is about how a bill becomes a law. So you can watch that too if that's more exciting for you. So if you have any questions, let me go back to my, what am I doing here? Stop sharing. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message or email me, and I am here to help you. All right,